Hey, this is Cam with the West Central Montana Avalanche Center. We are in the southern Bitterroot on a northwest aspect at 7,500 feet. So we're going to talk about what we've got going on in the snowpack right now. And fortunately, what we are finding has been really consistent all across the southern Bitterroot and even a little bit onto the Salmon Chalice and the North Fork drainage around Lost Trail. So snow totals have been consistently around 90 centimeters, roughly 3 feet. And we do have a couple layers of concern we want to talk about in there. So let's start from the beginning of our winter in October. So down here, this bottom 6 inches, 12 centimeters, this is that October snow that fell mid-October, followed up by a little bit of high pressure. So that snow began to facet. Once we come into November, we got our first significant storm of the year. This storm put down a foot, foot and a half, depending where you're at. And that was followed up by some cold, clear weather. So two things happened with that. One, this snow began to facet as well. When we look at it now, we can see really angular, unconsolidated grains, just some advanced facets. But above that, more importantly, what happened was we had a lot of surface hoar growth. This surface hoar layer has been really consistent and widespread all the way from Lost Trail through Rattlesnake. Problem with that is when this storm came in, this next storm, end of November, beginning of December, it came in without a lot of wind. So what that did is that preserved this buried surface hoar layer. That's a problem because this is going to be our most significant weak layer that we're dealing with right now. This one's going to be around a while, and we'll talk about that more later. Last couple week or so in December, we haven't had a significant storm, but what we have had are multiple small storms with some wildly different temperatures each day. For example, right now we're at about 7,300 feet and the rain line today was actually only about 200 feet below us. Yesterday, this area was in a real warm cloud. So what that did, this about 3 inches of snow or so is still really damp, borderline wet in areas, even on these north aspects. And now you can see we're starting to get some cold snow. We've had about a 10-degree temperature drop today. So we've got this cold, dry snow on top of this damp, borderline wet grains right here. We are going to see a little bit of melt layer recrystallization right on this interface. We're already starting to form a really small melt freeze crust, and we will end up with some facets right around that. That's another persistent weak layer we're going to need to watch out for in the future. Right now, though, our main layer of concern is this buried layer of surface hoar. Observations and field days have shown widespread avalanching, widespread collapsing on this layer. The natural cycle has started to decrease, but human-triggered avalanches are likely on this layer. It might not look like a big slab above it, but this is pretty dense. In areas, this is 1 finger plus slab. It's going to break out like a hard slab, and it's just got a lot of mass to it that's going to be coming down the hill. We haven't been seeing a lot of avalanches down onto this depth hoar layer full depth. Probably not because this layer is unreactive. More than likely what's happening is any failure we are having is just this surface hoar layer is so easy to make fail that it's breaking first. Now, two situations will lead to avalanches on this deep depth hoar layer. One, shallower areas of the snowpack. Anywhere shallow around rocks off to the side of the slab, you're more than likely to impact this deep layer, cause it to fail. Another possible way we could get some full depth avalanching on this is if we do knock out a slab on this buried surface hoar layer, this mass may have the power to step down and break out onto this buried depth hoar layer. So that's what we've got going on in the snowpack down here. As always, ski and ride safe.